The world is about to experience something revolutionary and unstoppable, the X-44 Manta. As tensions rise between the United States and technologically advanced nations like China and Russia, the timing of this aircraft's development couldn't be more critical. Aside from the perfect timing, its capabilities are unparalleled, sending lethal shockwaves across the globe. With its hypersonic speeds, invisibility to radar, and revolutionary parallax stealth coating, the Manta is ready for battle. What makes this jet special? Does Russia or China have technologies that can counter the Manta? Join us as we explore the features of this advanced aircraft that shocked Russia and China. The X-44 Manta is one of the most secretive and exciting projects in U.S. military aviation. Developed by Lockheed Martin, this jet stands out because it was designed without a tail, something that made it very different from other aircraft at the time. Like every other exceptional aircraft that USAF has revealed to the world, the X-44 Manta has quite a history. NASA and the U.S. Air Force started working on the Manta aircraft in May 1999, with the first prototype expected to take flight by 2007. The project was funded by the government and two companies. During this time, the Pentagon started focusing on improving aerodynamics and stealth technology, giving the famous Lockheed Martin the chance to develop the Manta. This fighter jet was designed without a tail, which made it very interesting. This choice allowed the Manta to greatly lower its radar visibility and become more maneuverable. It could fly at incredible speeds of 1,740 miles per hour and reach heights of up to 68,900 feet for reconnaissance missions. These features made it perfect for the most challenging tasks. However, things took an unexpected turn. Suddenly, the project was classified, and information about it began to vanish from public view. The Pentagon didn't comment, which only made people more curious. Many began to wonder if the aircraft was so powerful and advanced that its existence had to be kept secret, even from allies. One thing was clear: the X-44 Manta wasn't just an airplane. It represented a major leap in technology. This jet was meant to prove that a plane could be controlled entirely by vectored thrust without the need of traditional flight surfaces like a tail or vertical stabilizers. By cutting out the tail and rudder, this aircraft could fly stealthily under the radar and be much more efficient, controlling its movement through powerful thrust from its engines. Based on the F-22 Raptor, a fighter jet that has dominated the skies for centuries, the Manta kept the same engine and fuselage but introduced a delta wing and tailless design. This meant there would be no flight control surfaces, just pure control from the engines. By modifying the Raptor's existing nozzles, the Manta would handle yaw, pitch, and roll with advanced thrust vectoring. Not only would this make it simpler mechanically, but it would also boost its fuel efficiency, giving it more range due to its larger wings. The Manta can zoom up to Mach 1 in just seconds, setting a record for fighter jets. Its special shape and advanced stealth coating, called Parallax. If you're wondering how this Parallax stealth coating works, well, here it is. This stealth coating is a groundbreaking technology that makes the aircraft almost invisible, both to radar and the human eye. It works by creating an advanced form of camouflage. This coating can adapt to its surroundings, blending the aircraft into the sky or ground, giving the illusion that the plane has disappeared. What makes this even more impressive is its ability to function like a camera and display system. The coating captures images from one side of the aircraft and projects them onto the other. For instance, if someone is looking up at the plane from the ground, they would see the sky reflected on the bottom of the plane, making it nearly impossible to spot with the naked eye. In addition to this visual invisibility, the Parallax coating also has radar-absorbing properties, scattering and absorbing radar waves to prevent detection by enemy systems. This combination of visual and radar stealth makes the Manta incredibly difficult to detect, allowing it to carry out stealth missions with a significant tactical advantage. At first, the project was so secret that many thought it had been canceled or didn't exist at all. But new info from the Pentagon shows that not only is the Manta real, but it's being improved to handle the toughest combat missions. However, this is not the only feature that makes this aircraft exceptional. The X-44 fighter is armed with the latest weapon systems, including hypersonic missiles that can strike targets accurately within 16 feet. These missiles can fly at speeds of 2,850 miles per hour, which regular air defense systems can't keep up with. making the Manta almost unbeatable in battle. The aircraft also carries smart bombs that can hit targets with very little error, even when moving fast. Picture this. The Manta can fly at speeds of up to 1,740 miles per hour while remaining completely hidden. Even without its weapons, this aircraft is incredibly powerful and dangerous. This plane is truly a game changer, and there are rumors it might even have an electromagnetic gun. Whether that's true or not, one thing is clear. The X-44 Manta will play a key role in future conflicts. Here's an interesting fact. The X-44 Manta wasn't the only supersonic project that the USAF worked on in the 1990s. Let's explore the details of some of these projects, beginning with the FB-22. The Lockheed Martin/Boeing FB-22 was a suggested supersonic stealth bomber designed for the United States Air Force. Just like the Manta, its design was based on the F-22 Raptor. Lockheed Martin proposed this idea as a temporary regional bomber to support the older U.S. strategic bomber fleet. However, after the 2006 Quadrennial Defense Review suggested a new and larger next-generation bomber, by 2018, Lockheed Martin stopped working on the FB-22 concept. This new program eventually became known as the Long-Range Strike Bomber. In 1999, the Air Force published a white paper about long-range bombers, saying that its current strategic bombers, which include the B-52, B-1, and B-2, would be enough until around 2037. After that, they would need a new type of bomber. However, this timeline was questioned in the 2001 Department of Defense Quadrennial Defense Review. This review pointed out growing threats to the United States, military power, like advanced enemy air defense systems, which only stealth aircraft could bypass. The paper also suggested a shift from relying on nuclear weapons to using conventional bombing. Because of this situation, some Air Force officials started thinking about an interim strike capability, such as regional bombers, to support the current fleet while they looked into longer-term replacement options. In 2001, Lockheed Martin started studying whether the FB-22 could work, aiming to use the design and features of the F-22 Raptor from the Advanced Tactical Fighter program. These studies looked at how well the bomber could survive against advanced enemy air defense systems and fighter jets. The lessons learned from Operation Enduring Freedom in Afghanistan showed the need for a bomber that could hit targets quickly and stay in the area, especially when there were no surface-to-air missiles. While the F-22 was mainly designed as an air superiority fighter, it also had some ability to strike ground targets accurately using joint direct attack munitions, with plans for further upgrades. One main goal of these studies was to enhance the F-22's fast air-to-ground attack ability while keeping costs low. Lockheed Martin came up with several designs that included major changes to the fuselage and wings, but kept much of the F-22's electronics. One early design, called FB-22-1, involved lengthening and widening the fuselage to carry more weapons. Another design, the FB-22-2, had a stretched mid-fuselage to increase the main weapon bay capacity and featured a larger delta wing with a greater leading edge angle, while removing the horizontal tails. However, it was later discovered that these changes would increase costs by 25 to 30% due to added weight and materials. So the company decided to keep the fuselage mostly the same while making the diamond-shaped delta wing larger, using the same angles as the F-22. Several designs for the FB-22 were explored. The FB-22-3 kept the regular fuselage but had larger delta wings and no stabilators. The FB-22-4 was similar, but featured even bigger wings that met the top of the air intake. These large wings, about 3 times the size of the F-22's wings, allowed for carrying a lot more weapons and fuel. As a stealth bomber, the FB-22 was designed to carry weapons on the outside while still being stealthy, using special detachable pods called wing weapons bays. This was different from previous aircraft, which had to carry weapons inside to maintain stealth. This aircraft could hold 30 to 35 small-diameter bombs, compared to the F-22's ability to carry only 8 of those bombs. The main weapon bay doors were bulged to fit larger 2,000-pound bombs in the fuselage. Using the wing weapons bay, the FB-22 could carry bombs weighing up to 5,000 pounds, like the GBU-37 GAM, or 2 2,000-pound bombs stacked together. With its stealth features, the maximum combat load was planned to be 15,000 pounds. And without stealth, it could carry up to 30,000 pounds. The combat range of the aircraft was nearly tripled, from 600 nautical miles to over 1,600 nautical miles, which could be extended with extra fuel tanks. This put the aircraft in the regional bomber category, similar to the F-111, meant to replace the F-15E Strike Eagle and take on some roles of the B-1 and B-2 bombers. To help with the increased range and workload, Lockheed Martin planned to extend the forward fuselage by 60 inches to add a second pilot who would also act as a weapons systems officer. According to Air Force magazine, the range and payload of the FB-22 would have made it nearly as effective as the B-2 carrying 2,000-pound bombs. The aircraft would have still used Pratt & Whitney F-119 engines, but modified for more power and better performance at slower speeds, rather than high-speed cruising. Some designs for the FB-22 did not include tailplanes, drawing from research from the X-44 Manta program, while most proposals included twin tailplanes and likely fixed engine nozzles, unlike the thrust vectoring nozzles of the F-22. Although not built for supercruise, it could achieve supersonic speeds with afterburners for urgent targets. The maximum speed varied by model, with the faster FB-22-2 reaching about Mach 1.92, while the FB-22-4 with larger wings would reach around Mach 1.5. Since the FB-22 focused on air-to-ground missions while staying stealthy, it didn't have the dogfighting abilities of the F-22, but could carry AIM-9 Sidewinders and AIM-120 AMRAAMs for self-defense against enemy fighters. During the early design process, it was decided that Boeing would handle the final assembly of the FB-22. At that time, Lockheed Martin was making the middle section of the fuselage in Fort Worth, Texas, and assembling the F-22 in Marietta, Georgia. Since Boeing was already making parts of the fuselage, especially the wings, and integrating the avionics, it made sense for them to do the final assembly in Seattle, Washington. Aside from the wings, the FB-22 would have kept around 80% of the F-22's design, including its avionics, software, and flight controls. This shared design would help lower the costs of integrating the software. In February 2003, Air Force Secretary James Roach told the House Committee on Armed Services that he hoped to have a fleet of 150 FB-22s for the Air Force. In 2004, Lockheed Martin officially introduced the FB-22 to meet the Air Force's need for a potential strategic bomber as a temporary solution, aiming for it to be ready by 2018. Since a lot of work had already been done on the F-22, it was estimated that developing the FB-22 would cost about 25% of what it would take to create a new bomber, with total development costs expected to be around $5 to $7 billion. This included an airframe cost of about $1 billion. It was later found out that 6 different versions of the bomber were proposed, as the targets, payloads, and ranges were not yet determined. However, the FB-22 was canceled after the 2006 Quadrennial Defense Review, as the Department of Defense decided to focus on a new strategic bomber with a longer range that would enter service in 2018. The Air Force then started the Next Generation Bomber program to achieve this goal, which later changed to the Long Range Strike Bomber program, resulting in the B-21 Raider. The general characteristics of the aircraft include a crew of 2, consisting of a pilot and a co-pilot weapons systems operator. It measures 64 feet 4 inches in length, has a wingspan of 73 feet 8 inches, and a wing area of over 1,700 square feet with a 4.45 thickness airfoil. The maximum takeoff weight is 120,000 pounds, and it has an internal fuel capacity of over 43,000 pounds, powered by 2 modified Pratt & Whitney F-119 afterburn turbofans. In terms of performance, the aircraft can achieve a maximum speed of over Mach 1.5 at altitude, with a range of 3,600 nautical miles and a combat range of 1,477 nautical miles when utilizing a 100 nautical mile supersonic dash. Its subsonic range extends to 1,800 nautical miles, and it can withstand G limits of +6 G. For armament, the aircraft features 8 internal hardpoints located in 3 weapons bays and 4 underwing hardpoints, allowing for a total capacity of 15,000 pounds internally and 30,000 pounds overall. The internal missile loadout can include 6 AIM-120 AMRAAMs and 2 AIM-9 Sidewinders. The wing pylons can hold 4 AIM-120 AMRAAMs along with either 2 AGM-154 JSOWs or 2 AGM-158 JSSMs. In terms of bombs, the internal loadout can consist of 12 GBU-39 small-diameter bombs or 2 GBU-31/32 joint direct attack munitions, while the wing pylons can carry 12 GBU-39s in low observable wing weapons bays or 2 GBU-31/32 JDAMs or 2 GBU-37 GPS-aided munitions. The United States is not the only country with impressive conceptual aircraft designs and advanced supersonic fighters. Countries like Russia and China are also fully invested in the creation of really advanced fighters, for instance, the Su-34. Let's check out its capabilities and compare its strength with that of the United States. The Sukhoi Su-34 is a Russian fighter bomber that can fly in any weather. It has 2 engines and 2 seats and is built for medium-range missions. The aircraft first flew in 1990 for the Soviet Air Forces and started service with the Russian Air Force in 2014. The design of this aircraft is based on the Sukhoi Su-27, a fighter jet known for air superiority. It has a reinforced cockpit and seats its 2 pilots side by side. The Su-34 is mainly designed for attacking ground and sea targets, whether alone or in groups, both during the day and at night, in good or bad weather, and in dangerous situations where it might face counterattacks and electronic warfare. It is also used for aerial reconnaissance. It is set to replace the older Su-24 and Tu-22M bombers in the future. It shares many features with the Su-27 and Su-30, including its wings, tail, and engine nacelles. Like the Su-30 MKI and Su-33, it has canards to improve maneuverability and reduce drag. Powered by 2 Saturn AL-31FM1 engines, it can reach speeds over Mach 1.8 when fully loaded. Although it's a bit slower than the Su-27, it can still handle high G-forces and perform aerobatics. With a full weapons load, it has a range of 4,000 kilometers, and it can go even farther with aerial refueling. Its airframe can handle up to +9 G, and it's much quieter than older models, producing only half the noise. Its design includes 3 lifting surfaces, a conventional tailplane at the back, and a canard foreplane up front, which makes it more maneuverable. It also has twin tail fins like the Su-27, and it can carry up to 12,000 to 14,000 kilograms of weapons on 12 hardpoints. These weapons include the latest Russian precision-guided missiles. It's armed with a 30mm GSH-31 cannon, and it can carry up to 6 air-to-air missiles, like the R-77 and R-73, mainly for defense. Some of its standoff weapons have a range of up to 250 kilometers, and it comes equipped with a Kibini ECM system for protection against threats. What makes the Su-34 stand out from other flanker jets is its unique duckbill nose, earning it nicknames like Duckling, Hellduck, and Platypus. Inside, the cockpit is built for comfort, with 2 pilots sitting side by side. This layout allows them to share instruments, making it more efficient. The cabin is spacious enough for them to stand and even lie down during long flights. It also has a small toilet and kitchen, making long missions more bearable. The crew enters the cockpit through a ladder built into the nose landing gear, and the cockpit is protected by 17 millimeters of armor. The Leninets V004 radar can follow the terrain and avoid obstacles, with a range of 200 to 250 kilometers for large targets. A second radar in the rear watches for threats from behind, allowing the Su-34 to fire R-73 missiles at pursuing aircraft without needing to turn. The main radar can track 10 targets at once and attack up to 4. Fighter-sized targets can be detected up to 120 kilometers away. The Pika-M radar, tested in 2016, extends detection range up to 300 kilometers and is now installed in some upgraded Su-34s, improving their ability to detect and engage air and ground threats. This aircraft is quite unique and powerful, making it a formidable force to contend with. While the X-44 is an American conceptual aircraft design, the Su-37 is a fully developed fighter jet. Thanks for watching. While you are still here, click on the link on your screen to check out another of our videos. See you there.